Welcome to Friday 5 Questions, the series where I sit down with global event leaders to uncover how they really run and grow their businesses, the strategies, the challenges, and the mindset behind their successes. This week I'm speaking with Honey Lee, Managing Director of Really Good People, a marketing and events business she set up in Toronto in Canada. A thought leader with over 23 years of experience building brands and creating unforgettable experiences, Honey leads a powerhouse collective of top-tier producers, communicators, and strategists, delivering world-class events for premium and luxury clients across hospitality, food and beverage, and lifestyle. Let's get into the interview. Honey Lee, thank you so much for doing this, doing these questions with me. Welcome to Friday 5 Questions. So I'm going to just share one thing. We met in Singapore. I don't even remember when or how, because we were neighbors. We both had a shop house in fabulous Chinatown in Singapore, and you had this amazing sign on the door which said, "Take your shoes off at the door." And
Nobody
Jimmy
stole it.
Choos. Nobody stole it, which is actually pretty amazing. And I used to love passing and seeing it. And then you left, and I was like, I miss Honey. And I
And
don't
then you
even know.
left.
Yeah, and then I left. But I don't even know if we met because we were neighbors or we met and then found out we were neighbors. So I just in the party scene, I guess, in the event scene, working in Singapore, both of us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I went
so
through the ladder through Hamish.
right, through Hamish. Okay, so yeah, mutual friends. So you then left Singapore. What year was that?
2018 January.
18.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you moved to Toronto in Canada,
Mm,
and then you set up a new business,
I
Really Good
did.
People, doing
That's
really good
it.
things.
That's it. For really good brands.
And for really good brands, and you're an events and marketing specialist, and I'm going to over to you first. Could you just share with us who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the questions.
Yeah, so my name is Honey Lee. I'm originally from New York. Career-wise, I've always been in media, marketing, events, PR, so kind of running that whole 360 gamut under that marketing umbrella. In Singapore, I was running a PR and events outfit. It was very events heavy, and then supported with PR. When I came to Toronto, shifted that a bit, started doing a little bit of strategy and PR at the forefront and then dabbling in events. But now, as the business has come into about 2.5 years, we're seeing a lot more requests for events, larger events. So again, full format, full 360, servicing just great clients.
Awesome. And also going from strength to strength, because I always see your Instagram, and you're just always just you are Honey Lee around town in Toronto, always.
I try.
And selling the fashion, let me tell you. Always doing what Honey Lee does. So let's get into the questions, okay?
Sure.
And I really appreciate this because also I really want anyone that's watching this who's about to start or who's just starting an events business to just see what it's like from people who have been there, done it. So
For sure.
thank you for doing this. Cool. So first of all, how do you find your clients?
I think that that question depends on where you are in your business cycle. If you are
Yep,
first
for
starting
sure.
and you're just, planning and setting up, or you're about a year into it. So at least for me, just anecdotally, having a business that's fairly new, only about 2.5 years, I think it's a two-pronged approach. One is obviously tapping into the network that you've got. And I think this network doesn't necessarily have to be local. It is anyone that you have ever came across, touch base with, colleagues, friends of friends. I think just meeting as many people as possible, whether it's fruitful and turns out to be anything or not, I think just putting that word out there is super important. So for me, starting from ground zero, having not known the market at all, or having a network here in Canada, I started reaching out to larger international clients that I had in Singapore. So larger corporations that I might have worked with, like a Rémy Cointreau, or a Moet Hennessy, and then understanding who their counterparts are in different parts of the world. And oftentimes they'll be very happy to connect you with
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
And then you take it from there. So that was very beneficial for me. My first retainer, a client across all services, including events, PR, social, and design, came from Rémy Cointreau, which was a client in Singapore. And then
Perfect.
secondary, I think it's doing this cold calling due diligence, setting yourself up with LinkedIn Business and setting a target every single day or every single week. So for me, it was reaching out to at least 20 people a day for 60 days.
Oh
Like,
wow. Okay. That is tough work.
and you know
It's
what?
not for the lighthearted.
No, and I think it's discouraging in many ways because you have to understand that response rate is going to be 10% or less, that actual conversion is probably going to be about 1%. So if you just do the math, you just have to
Yeah.
start working those numbers. With that, I think, people don't like these generic pitches. They're pretty much dime a dozen when you come to this kind of industry, be it events or other types of marketing. So for me, what I had done, having worked with a video director before and a video team, I had somebody do just a really quick, snappy reel for me, which speaks in 15 seconds much faster than it can
So
on
what, did you just share that with people? Like,
I
and
did.
did
So
you
like a
just send
one-liner.
it cold call?
Oh, I did. I mean, it was just a very, very simple reel. I said, if you want to have a look, it'll give you
Yeah.
my one-on-one snapshot in 10 seconds. And more than not, people were actually watching it. So I think that versus a portfolio or a deck or a kit, this kind of thing just works a lot quicker.
Awesome. That is, do you know, that's great advice because so many people starting, they just feel like, where are the clients? And it's very
Yeah.
difficult to know exactly, well, A, who it is, but who wants to listen. So you just really have to cast a big net and see what
See what
happens.
sticks. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but
Yeah.
in the
But
beginning, I
it's not new, is it? I think people have been doing
no,
this for
it's not
years.
rocket science. It's
Yeah.
it's sales 101. I think if you approach any sort of business you're starting, but especially with events, from a sales perspective versus wearing like the marketing and creative hat, it just helps you convert. And I
Yeah.
think, in the beginning, you'll start with anything and everything. So I was approaching pet food
Yeah.
companies, apparel brands, fashion brands, cars, literally coffee, anything you can
Yeah.
imagine. You've got to
Yes.
start somewhere.
Hire me.
That's it. And if you
Yeah.
demand it and you knock on that door sometimes, people would be like, okay, you sent me a message on LinkedIn, on Instagram, you've somehow found my email, like just to stop you from
Yeah.
messaging me, let's have that phone call. So
Yeah.
perseverance, I think, and going through
Yeah.
all avenues.
And having faith in yourself too, because this is
Yeah,
not your first business, it's not your first rodeo. So, you know what you can do. It's just a case of saying to everyone, I can do this. Who's going to hire me?
yeah. And I also think the one other thing is being flexible. In the
Right.
beginning, I think it's look, if people have no idea who you are, what you do, or just a semi idea and aren't sold, you need to just hook them in, give them a little taste of what you do, and from there it's kind of smooth
Yeah.
sailing.
And then it's cool. Awesome. Thank you. Next question. Um, what's the hardest part about running your business?
Mm. I think it's the question of scalability. And I think at the core of that is people and team. So
Love
really
that.
understanding, is the juice worth the squeeze when it comes to what you're getting from a project or client? And this is just pure tactical financial. And then
Yeah, it is.
what,
Business is
what
about
it
the
takes.
financial. We're not
And
doing this
oftentimes
for
we forget
free.
it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
forget that sometimes. We're
Yeah.
like, we love this brand, we love the client, and really, end of the day, it's what are you putting in versus what are you getting out? And I think having I'll even say the word luxury and opportunity to do this business again from scratch, I was able to build it the way I wanted to. And
Right.
that really stems from, do you need a team? Do you need a 10-person team, a 30-person team, a 50-person team? Are you solo? What makes sense for you, your lifestyle, the point you are in your life and in your career? I think that scalability question is the most difficult thing to answer. And that really comes back to aligning with what your goals are and what you really want to achieve and
Yeah.
doing logically, strategically, and just reasonably as well.
Yeah, no, it is a tough one. I think I'm going to share something with
Yeah.
you that I got to a point 10 years into my business. I had 12 staff. I had two rents for different, I had an operation warehouse and I had my main office. And I was
Mhm.
paying all this money every month. And I was thinking, what am I doing this for? And then I actually did a little bit of reduction. I got rid of one of the properties. I reduced some of my staff. I went to a freelance model. And suddenly I was making more money and doing less work. And I was like, why did I do
Light
why did I
bulb.
do this for 10 years? Yeah, so it's kind of yeah, I get that. I get that. You just really have to figure out if you're scaling, why are you scaling, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
bingo. I think everybody has clocked the freelance model, but even that
Hmm.
comes with its own pain points, right? So really
Sure. Lack
understanding
of
what matters.
commitment, but still.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the hard okay. And I feel like question number three, thank you,
Kind of,
is if you started again, what would you do differently? And you kind of, yeah, so that's that you are the model. If you started again, you would. And then could you share what are you doing now? Like, where are you with this scalability
yeah, yeah.
question? Yeah.
I think that's where it stemmed from. When I first got to this country, it was never, I'm going to jump right back into events and PR. I was like, I want to take a huge break, maybe a permanent break from it because I'm burned out. I'm tired. It didn't work. I'm upset about that. So how do I start anew? And I really took a detour and went into a completely different area. So I was working in shopper marketing consulting, working with corporate brands, office life. When I was off work, I was off work, and
Yeah.
it was good for a while. But when you're truly passionate about something, you end up coming back to it. And I think it's that really that kind of coming back to what do I want this time around and how am I going to make it right and successful? And so that scalability model of is it just me and I just take a few clients and make the money I need to make? So I think that number one question is where do you want to get to? How much
Yeah.
money do you want to be making a year? What do you want to achieve at a certain point in your career? It's not about the titles, it's not about the portfolios. Maybe it's about work-life balance, maybe it's about wealth. Whatever that is, I think it's just really zeroing in on that and building a work back on how to make that happen. From there, I think it's
So
then
good.
diversifying, right? Because there are times, and we know this very well from COVID and a number of other things that have happened through our lifetimes and careers, that sometimes people are not going to desire your business and what you offer. So at those times, what are you going to do when you have these like lulls? And so for me, I said, okay, what are the different areas I've tapped into in my career? Who are the different professionals that I've been working with that can work laterally with me? And then build this kind of 360 again solution of all things PR and communications, strategy, events and XM, as well as content and video production. So once you've got this full cycle, you benefit in two ways, where one, people will tap into you for multiple things, be it
Yeah.
existing clients or new clients. And then two, when you know it's not event season, say early in the year, people are still doing strategy work as they plan for budgets. People are still doing PR. People still need their video and photo content for social, et cetera, et cetera. So really diversifying in that way, for me at least, has worked. And then also, I think the final thing I will say is really streamlining what your expertise is. And I
Yeah.
think
Be very clear.
yes, we're all talented at different things, right? Typically, if you're a creative person, you're going to like food, you're going to like music, you're going to like fashion. There's going to be a number of pots that you dip into. But for me, I think really fundamentally going back to what people knew me for, what I do well, and what feels like in nature is that food, beverage, and hospitality. And I
Yeah.
think that has really helped to quickly establish myself as a name and continue to build that clientele and rapport.
Right. And of course, it's all about producing as well. And what is your model? So you working much more of a freelance model?
Yes. So I have a roster of freelancers across all the services,
Right.
but at least two of them right now are fairly full time. I will
Yeah.
say they're about
Yeah.
30 hours a week. So
I always
it,
used to say my freelancers were almost full time. They were exclusive, because I gave them so much
I
work,
know.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
nice though, because you can build a relationship, but you don't have this employee mentality, employee boss mentality. They have their thing and you have your thing, and then I
yes.
find the relationship to be a much more symbiotic somehow.
100%. You're not married, you're partners. I think that's always the best in any situation. So
Modern
that's good.
day.
But I think the other part to that is when I was looking at this roster of professionals, I didn't want to do the learning curve again of teaching and
Yeah, yeah,
guiding and respectfully, that's wonderful. And there's a lot of value that comes out of that and reward. But I think just hiring senior professionals who are already established in what they do, people that can just get the brief and hit the ground running, is absolutely essential, critical, and cost effective as well. So
yeah.
those are the kind of pieces I would say I put two and two or one and one together.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's going well. So
Thank you, thank you,
I'm
thank
so
you.
happy for you, you know.
Great.
Cool. On to the fourth question. So, what, again, not mentioning names, but what do newer event companies consistently get wrong? What do you see out there? Especially people that have not run businesses before, they've started businesses. What are they getting wrong, do you see? From your opinion, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I said something a little bit different just a few minutes ago, but I think it's this whole client relationship aspect where it is just a time, energy, and everything suck. Where because you're so tied to making this work and getting paid, you are just inundated and completely taken over by this one project or this one client. So it's this burnout, I would say, because you complete this one thing and you just have no more energy left to do anything else. So it's again really protecting the self, your boundaries, and your time. I really think that that's important, and it's difficult when you're starting out and just
Yeah.
trying to make a mark and
You
trying to
feel
get that
like you feel like you have to say yes to everything.
everything,
Yeah.
everything,
And
no
and
matter what time of day.
yeah. It's almost like you have to. I was talking about this with someone the other day. When it comes to
Mm,
balance in your life, I feel like, it's now not balance in the day or the week, it's balance in the year. So like if you're
yeah,
gonna put, foot to the metal, sort of, burn it hard, sort of like September, October, November, December, take 2 weeks off at Christmas and switch off your phone and then decompress and get
yeah,
ready for January, kind of thing. And I used to go on holiday and be constantly on my phone. And it took me a while to learn to actually go, everyone, I'm going away. It's 1 week. You can cope. Bye. Turn off phone, decompress. It took me a while.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great one.
And you know what? It's hard, and even I
Of,
still do it. I still do it.
of course.
It's just a matter of also just from my experience, it's setting a precedent. It's like, okay, so this person
Yeah.
worked really hard. They're really cheap. And then once you get into this model of that's the kind of project you do and you're pigeonholed into doing, it's very hard to go bigger from there because there will be an industry standard, there will be a reputation. You do fall into this certain pattern, and then it's kind of hard to backtrack. So just from the
Yeah.
get-go, doing what you need to do to set your mark and please the client, but also just understanding, what you want to build for the long run. Um,
100%. Yeah.
and then I think the secondary part about what I see is, again, it's about the team, right? Where as one person or two people, you try to do everything, and this kind of goes hand in hand with that. And people start expecting you. People start to expect you as a client. They want to see your face. They want to see you running it. And
Right.
again, setting precedent of how much of whose time you're going to get based on what you pay for, one, but two, in terms of how you run your business is going to be critical.
Yeah. It's great advice. It's really great advice. It's tough, and I used to really struggle with, like, I'd have this client. I remember one client. I have this client that always called me last minute, but they were such a big fish, and I never wanted to say no. But it was
Yeah.
always so frustrating because I was like, I want to draw some boundaries, But if I say no, they're just going to go and find someone else, and they might never come back to me. So I need to say yes every time. So it drove me nuts, but at the same time, gosh, it was great business. It was good
I
business.
know, I know. And you know what? You know what? Like this sounds very cliche. I will say there is enough to go around. There is a different
Yeah,
client or a different agency. And honestly, if somebody wants to leave, it's actually unnerving for a lot of people. I will just say, okay, thank you. I can just, I'll just tidy up and it's fine. Like,
right.
appreciate everything you've done. And then
Yeah.
don't even think about it. Move
Move
on.
on.
What's
Move
next? How
on.
do I replace this? Is
Yeah.
what you need to channel your energy into.
Don't go back. Don't step back. Don't think
What if, coulda,
behind.
shoulda, this,
Look
there's,
forward. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, honey. Last
yeah,
question.
sure.
What's made the biggest impact on your growth? What do you think of all the things that in terms of your growth, what's made the biggest impact?
I think two things, and it's pretty simple and they're not surprising, but first thing being obviously your support network. And that could be anybody. That could be your husband, your partner, a good group of friends, family, a dog. Just having someone there that is your sounding board. And it doesn't even have to be about work. It's just about when you are done or when you need that like bit of reprieve and relief. How do you recharge and how do you reset? I think it
Yeah.
is so critical, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because no one
Yeah.
gets it.
In a healthy
Nobody gets
way too.
Yes, correct, correct. Where
Yeah.
you're right. It's full trust. It needs to be this trust system.
Yeah.
And because nobody gets it, you're very siloed in many ways. And the only people that really do understand, but it's also very toxic because you're just still in that bubble, is other people who do what you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you
Yeah.
get together and all you'll talk about over dinner for 2 hours is that and constantly
Yeah.
about. So really having these people that are there without
Sorry, I've
judgment.
got a phone running. Okay, ignore. Sorry.
Don't pick up that client call. Um,
Don't worry, I'm not.
yeah, I think that's super, super important. And then also secondary is just being very real and kind to yourself. I think especially when you're an overachiever,
It's
as we
great
all are,
advice.
it's
Yeah.
constantly, what's next? How can I get bigger? How come that person got that thing? Why am
Yeah.
I not doing that? Why am I resting on a Saturday? Why shouldn't I be doing?
Or
And
being
it's,
self-critical,
oh
beating
yeah,
yourself up. Yeah. Oh, I
like
didn't do enough
that was
job. Or
wrong.
gosh.
That was
Yeah.
bad. That person said they didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's this
Yeah.
constant like saboteur of like,
Yeah.
what did I do wrong and what could I have done better? And we're taught to always think that way, right? Of what can I do better? But I think
The
always right.
sensitivity that I always say, the sensitivity that allows people like you and me to
Mm.
bring the essence of whatever it is that we're bringing to our work also works against us because we go and pull it on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that
Yeah,
double-edged sword of, I think it comes with
great.
age as well, where you stop
Yeah,
caring about certain things that don't matter at a certain point. And I
you
think
just
that
got to do it.
you got to do it. And for me, I
Yeah,
think that came from you have no choice. You're in a new country. You have no money left in your pocket. You got to do what you got to do. You don't have enough time to worry about what that person said. And
yeah,
you're almost forced to worry about what matters. And same thing when you're balancing aging parents and friends that are far away and a business that needs to grow and has to grow, you start really understanding what is important. So I think
yeah.
really
Mental
at the core,
health.
taking that lesson of without taking it too far is just be not even kind. Just give yourself a bit of grace
Yeah.
and pat yourself on the back for working hard. I oftentimes do it too much. I'm like, I deserve this, I deserve that, a meal, a
Buy
bag.
yourself something new.
I deserve it. I deserve
Do,
it,
do,
but
do what
a
has
good
to. I always
balance.
say, whatever does the trick, right?
That's it.
Healthy, healthy.
That's it. In moderation, but
Yeah.
moderation in moderation.
Honey, you've just dropped some real gems. I hope whoever's listening to this will find this useful. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put your details, but I'm assuming that you'll be happy for anyone to connect with you and ask you any questions. But otherwise, thank you so much, Honey Lee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.